Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Sapna Dadwal. I'm working as a professor in the Department of Management at St. Andrews Institute of Technology and Management. This is lecture 16 of Consumer Protection. This subject is taught in BBA 6th semester. In the last lecture, lecture 15, we have already discussed about consumer development in consumer protection movement. We discussed the topic related to consumer movement. I gave you brief history of consumer protection movement in India. We discussed meaning of consumerisms and other topics related to consumer movement, like objectives of consumer movement, etc. Now, in this lecture, the topic I am going to discuss are recent development in consumer protection, consumer movement in business, skill development for business success, then some suggestions for the managers. We will be discussing suggestions for the managers in case of consumer protection. So, I am starting with first topic, that is recent development in consumer protection. The following developments have been taken place recently in the consumer protection movement. The first one is development of new consumer culture. The second is consumer awareness. Then third is self-help by consumers. Next one is consumer education. Then is development of new business cultures. I'm starting with first, that is development of new consumer culture. These days, consumer defined through his own supreme will, both consumption and production as well as stocks. In trade, though in India, still it cannot be said the consumer is king, as it was the manufacturer or traders. They were supreme, or they are supreme in some areas of the India. Some still they are supreme, and consumer is at the last end of that is at the receiver's end side. But in the recent time, this picture is changing. Now, with the advent, with MRTP Act, Consumer Protection Act, this picture is changing in India also. Consumers are becoming more aware about their rights and protection bodies in the country. They know if they are being exploited, where they have to reach for the justice. They know about the proceedings of the justice or process of the justice, and consumers are being educated by not only by government, but there are more than 500 consumer organizations in India who are also educating consumers about these legislations and about their rights. So we can say there is a development of new consumer culture in India. Now the consumers are not as they used to be few decades ago. They know about their rights. They know about the malpractices or unfair practices of the traders. They know if they are being exploited, to whom to contact, where to make complaint. And there are a lot of consumer organizations at local level which are giving even legal aid to the people or to the section of the society which is poor. So there is a development of new consumer culture in the country. The second point is consumer awareness. Consumers must be aware of the existing consumer protection laws In fact, the laudable objects of the legislation concerning consumer protection can only be achieved if the consumer become fully conscious of their rights and aware of availability of cheap and speedy remedies under the Act. So the recent development in case of consumer protection is that in India, consumers are being educated and told about their rights. They are being aware about their rights, about different legislation, about different redressal bodies available to them, and about different products too. Consumers are being continuously being aware, educated about hazardous products and the procedure how they can get justice. So this is a recent development in the consumer movement, that consumers are aware now. They are aware. The awareness is spreading in consumers now. And this awareness is not only the upper section, it is in middle level, it is at middle level, lower middle level, and consumer organization, they are spreading this awareness in the lower level also, lower level section of the society also. Now the third one is self-help by consumers. While making a purchase, read the product label, which will give consumers some essential information about the product. Some of the example below are of advantage of the exercise. Exercise means with which consumer can help themselves and they can protect themselves from the exploitations of the traders and businessmen. So consumers should look for date of manufacturing, packaging before buying medicines. And consumers should look for the expiry date also. They look for the salts also. Then the consumer should take precautions while purchasing goods and services. They look for manufacturing date, they look for expiry dates, they ask from sellers about the products, and moreover, consumers have made their own voluntary organization to spread knowledge among members and to other consumers about the hazardous products. So these days consumers share their ideas and give their feedback on different social networking sites about the products, about its use, about the use of the products, about the price of the product, about their application also. So by doing this, consumers are not helping themselves, they are helping others consumers also. This is called as self-help by consumer. They are helping themselves. So these days, before going for a buying decision, before making a buying decision, generally consumer ask the other consumers about the application and about the product. Only after seeking advices or after looking for the information, they make the buying decisions. So consumers are helping each other. The next is consumer education. Consumer education plays an important role in protecting the interest of the consumers in India. And both central government as well as state governments, they are playing an important role in educating consumers. In India, the government as well as consumer organizations are making effort to educate consumers by different ways. These ways are publication. There are a lot of booklets, brochures are published by government and voluntary consumer organization to educate consumers. And there are video measures also, audio video measures are also there. Doordarshan is telecasting fortnightly. Like a lot of programs are being conducted by Doordarshan and other medias for the education of consumers. Then consumers, they look, they also, there is a Bureau of Indian Standard which is engaged in harmonious development of the activities of standardization, marketing and quality certification. So but this information is also given to consumers. Consumers are being educated about the quality, about the standardization, about the quality certifications. They are being told if they are going to buy food products, they should look for this marks. If they are going to buy electronic product, they should look for this mark. So there are different marks for different category of products. So consumers are being educated that for before buying, they should look for these marks, because these marks means denotes the quality of that particular product. The next is development of new business culture. The most effective expression of business responsibility is to respond to consumers' demand and behave proactively to consumer satisfaction. So recent development is this, that these days business is giving importance to consumer expectations, and business has understood that customer satisfaction is very important for their survival or for the survival of the organization. Unsatisfied customers mean they are losing business, and satisfied customers are being treated as asset of the business these days. So this thinking is a new business culture. Consumers are given importance these days. The next is consumer movement in business. Some business organizations have welcomed the concept of consumerism and treated it as an opportunity rather than threat to their business. The following step has been taken by businesses in this direction. The first is setting up consumer affair department. A lot of organizations have set up consumer affair department in their organization to solve consumers' grievances and to take suggestions of the consumers. Then second is setting up of advisory boards. Advisory boards are generally made up of experts or some of the firms or consumers or both. So representative of expert advisory boards may include specialists among manufacturers, government agencies and consumer group, providing them an opportunity to meet periodically. And these expert advisory boards, they discuss about consumer problems and ways to resolve the consumer problems. The next one is educational campaigns. Educational campaigns are launched by the manufacturers. Larger and more informative messages can be conveyed through these educational campaigns. Comparative testing and exhibition of product also will help consumer make correct judgment. Then fourth one is advertisement. So business these days have some code of conduct. They have established certain associations of different type of business groups. They have their own associations which set up code of conduct for its members, like FICCI. And these associations have certain codes relating to advertisement, like not to display or misleading advertisement, or not to mislead consumers by giving misleading advertisement, etc. Now the next one is public relations, PR. Public relation as an effective mean of providing consumer satisfaction. Though every department in an organization has to be customer oriented, whether or not it is in the direct interaction with its customer. But the PR department in particular can play a very crucial role in providing consumer satisfaction. The satisfied customers actually act as ambassadors of the organization. One satisfied customer brings 10 more new customers to the business. Next one is the marketing department need to be on its toes on the issue of consumer protection and satisfaction. So there are a number of laws which provide for the protection of consumer. Thus the business firms and every department thereof, particularly the department of marketing, have to be aware of these legal provisions concerning protection of consumers. Then next point is organization's work culture. Organization work culture cannot ignore consumerism. The consumers movement is bringing change in the organization work culture too. Organizations in India are bound to bring about new dimension to the existing work culture in the organization. The people, both managerial and operational, working in organization have to be responsible to the consumer movement. This change should be mental attitude of the people working in the organization. They should think about consumer satisfaction. Consumer satisfaction should be supreme in their mind. Now the next topic is skill development for business success. Managers should not only be responsive positively to the demands of the consumers, but adopt proactive approach to consumers and should undertake the following activities. First is recognized managers or business should recognize that market is something more than selling and distribution. This thought should come in the businessmen, in the mind of the business people and the traders and the managers working in the organization, that market is something more than selling and distribution. Then second is providing information and education about product and issues, etc. So business people should provide right kind of information and should educate consumers about their product and should resolve consumer issues as immediately. Then third is ensuring product safety. So businessmen should ensure that whatever product they are going to sell in the market, that should be safe for the use of the consumer. Then ensuring availability of the product. Yes, it is the duty of the businessman to make available all the product and services to the consumer when needed by them. So they have to ensure that these products should be available when needed by the consumers and at fair price, at reasonable price. The next is not giving false information in advertisement. Yes, this is again for achieving a success in the business. This is very important that business should not give a false information to the consumers about the advertisement, about the product. They should not mislead consumers about the product. They should always give the right information to the consumers, because the right information will always make the consumers loyal to the business. And loyal consumers are competitive edge on the competitors of the business. The next is the business should invest in research and development of the product. And the product should be developed as per the need and expectation of the consumers. If the products are not as per the need and the expectations of the consumers, then consumers will not buy those products. And the product should be developed and produced as per the as per the requirement of the consumers, but the cost should not be charged more than, or cost should be charged reasonable, or fair prices should be charged from the consumers. Then next point is diversifying product and services. Yes, to get success in the business should diversify its product and services, because the consumer, it has been shown in so many research that consumers get bored very easily with one product. They want diversification. They want a different products with different taste. So to get success in the business should diversify its products and services, so that their consumer shouldn't go to their competitors. Then next point is making pollution free environment by recycle. Yes, this is to get success in the business. Our business should make products in such a way that it should not harm the pollution, it should not harm the environment, it should not pollute the environment. This can be done by recycling of packaging, filling of bottles, or other ways are also there. Because when organizations or when business doesn't pollute the environment, then it is always beneficial for the business, as consumers, as the society. It enhances the goodwill of this business in the society, and the consumer become more loyal to the business. Then making consumer aware by using media and other ways. Yes, business may for getting success, business may use the media, and by giving publicity to various rights and duties of the consumers. And business may make aware consumers about their rights by using medias and other ways like periodicals, by publishing brochures, by giving advertisements, by conducting exhibitions, seminars, etc. So it should make aware consumers about product as well as about different legislation provided to them. Now the last topic of this lecture is suggestions for managers. The managers should keep following agendas on their mind to get success in the business. These agendas are discussed as under. The first is to identify and anticipate demand of the consumers of different classes, taste, and with different purchasing power. So business managers should first identify and anticipate demand of different consumers belonging to different classes, having different taste and with different purchasing power. Then second is they should establish reasonable price of goods, and this reasonable price should be consistent, and it should be consistent with quality. If there is a reasonable price but the quality is not good, then a business managers will not get success in their business. So both should be there, reasonable price and the quality. Both should be there in the products. The next point is provide prompt, adequate and friendly service to consumers. So managers have to provide prompt, adequate and friendly service to the consumers. They have to, if the consumer have grievances, those grievances should be addressed or redressed immediately, and complaint should be redressed, their complaint should be redressed immediately, and consumers should be provided goods and services as and when they are needed by the consumers. The last is carry out product research time to time for understanding consumers' expectations and develop product as per those expectations. So this is the duty of the managers. If manager wants to get success in the business, they should continuously carry out research in the products and services. And why this research should be carried out? This research should be carried out to understand consumers' expectations, and the product should be developed as per these expectations of the consumers. Now, these are the questions which are related to the above topics. If any query is there, please do contact me. If any writing mistake is there, please ignore that writing mistake. Thank you so much.